I know you're married and you have kids.
That's right.
Right. So like, I'm curious because I just recently got married, man. So I'm asking this selfishly.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you so much. How the fudge do you balance everything? And do you? So I know you said you probably spend like 1 hour a week on the Airbnb side of things, but I know you're coaching. I've ran coaching programs. That stuff takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes a lot of your time. So like, is there certain things that you follow that are like non-negotiables in your life to allow you to have a healthy marriage?
Yeah, man. There's a lot here. One thing that really helped is that my wife went through that same program. Right.
Right.
So
the MIT?
Yeah. So I went, and then the following month she went. So we were able to individually work on each of our, shit that we all needed to kind of leave behind to move forward. I would say another thing that's been really helpful is like, so she used to be a law enforcement officer. Funny, because she used to work for immigration. And it's funny because we used to cross people across the border. So she used to catch those people that used to do the things that we used to do.
Is that you guys met?
Is that like a
Did you get caught, bro?
A twist on Romeo and Juliet? Sort of like?
No, that's a Lil Wayne song, Mrs. Officer. Lil Wayne song, Mrs. Officer, bro. Come on, dude. Please tell me you guys don't get it. You know what's up? You know what's up?
We actually met dancing bachata like back in like 2009.
In one of your clubs?
Yeah, at the club.
That's flipping lit.
Yeah, long story short, in 2018, we had just got pregnant. And because it was a federal job that she had, she would work. She was like 15 minutes before she would get out of her shift. And they would say like, hey, Stephanie, you got to stay for another 8 hours. And there was nothing that she could do about it. So she was working 16-hour shifts on the border of TJ. And then she had an apartment there, but then she would drive to my place in LA. So it was really crazy.
Wow.
And we didn't want her to keep having to work those 16-hour shifts. So we set up a game plan to basically be able to replace her 9 to 5. And that's how we got into the subleasing part of Airbnbs, because getting a couple subleases, we replaced her 6-figure career. And that's how she got out of, her rat race. But the reason I brought that up is, at least in my culture, when the man works and is the provider, the wife now feels all the pressure to do all the cooking, cleaning, laundry, full time. And I remember telling her, I was like, babe, give me about another year. And in about a year, none of us are going to have to do this. So I just kind of focus on getting more properties, growing the coaching business. And 3 years ago, we hired like a full-time house manager. So that's what I call her. I don't really know what the title is, but she does cooking, cleaning, laundry, iron, helps with the girls. And it basically has bought us like 40 hours of time, of hours of stuff that we used to do. Now, like I always say, if it's not a meaningful experience or an income producing activity, I don't want to do it. So a lot of those things that we used to do, like cooking and cleaning and laundry every day, every week, those are like lower per hour activities that we were able to hire out so that we could focus on more meaningful experiences, more family time, and more higher income producing activities.
So basically get your money right.
Yeah.
Get your money right, guys.
And so that, that's helped because now my wife homeschools our 4-year-old. Yeah. And so she's able to spend more time with them rather than having to do everything else in the household to, keep the house together.
This is a prime example of money definitely buys happiness. Prime example. Yeah.
So I always say, people ask me, yo, how is your wife involved in the business? Like, how does that work? I always say, hey, she's the CEO of the house and I run the businesses.
Yeah, totally. Like so, but like, I'm curious in terms of like scheduling time out. So like, do you work every day or do you have days where you're like, I'm just going to take off? Like,
Fridays are like my heaviest days are like Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday. Friday is super light. And then on the weekends, I mean, I don't, typically work, but Fridays are like laid back. And I definitely schedule. So if it's not on my calendar, it's not happening, right? So like this podcast was on my calendar. 3 days a week, I have it on my calendar to like go out in the front yard and play soccer with my 1-year-old and my 4-year-old. And then it happens.
On your calendar for that?
It's on my calendar.
Oh, that's cool.
Like if everything, personal, even my workouts, hit the sauna, the cold plunge.
You got to show me that calendar because how the hell do you keep up? I've tried that, but I find it so hard to like have because you do a lot of things throughout the day.
Yeah, everything, even like...
Is there like a system you follow?
No, I just put it on the calendar, like take my vitamins in the morning, it's on the calendar, put them, in the evening, they're there, and then once I do it, I just delete it, and that's how I know. And anything I don't finish, I usually add it to the next day. Mm-hmm. But this is how I ensure that like nothing slips, right?
How often do you update this calendar?
It's on a daily.
on the
Like
daily.
this calendar is like an extension of my life. Like it's just every day. If you were to say, "Hey, let's go golfing next Monday," I'd be like, "Oh, cool! Like what time and where?" And then I put it in my calendar. We'll send you a calendar invite, and like it's done. You know, if my wife, like last week, she wanted to go to this like an arts class just to have time to herself. I was like, cool. Like what day? She's like, oh, Monday at 6. I'm like, great, Monday at 6. And now I know that I'm gonna be home with the girls while she goes to her class. But like everything goes on the calendar.
That's pretty sweet. Cause like I asked that because like my calendar, because I've tested and tried a lot of different formats. One of the formats some formats, like I have like some entrepreneur friends who, Mondays and Fridays are like high level work days, and then Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays is when they get their meetings done. Some entrepreneur friends I've heard of like systems where like, some even take Mondays and Fridays off. Excuse me. And some people, like I've heard of the methodology of not packing your calendar too much and allowing some flexibility in there. So you literally like task by task by task have that set up. So it's not like a task list. It's all on your calendar.
It's on my calendar. Yeah. Huh. I like it that way because if you were to say like, yo, let's film part 2. This was great in 30 days. I'd be like, oh, let me check. Oh, dude, I'm going to be out of town. It's just everything fits there. Or if I have, I don't know, my daughter's, dance performance, like I know that I can't. It's just everything goes on the calendar.
That's freaking rad. That's pretty cool.
So hold on. Have you ever read the book 4 Hour Work Week?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
So how much of what you currently do or what your operations look like, how much of that do you leverage?
In my business?
In your businesses?
In relevant to the 4 Hour Work Week or just in general?
Because I know the pretty much like one of the summaries of like the 4 Hour Work Week is understanding leverage.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, there's a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
This is why we hired, her name's Maritza, right? Now we got 40 hours back of all these tedious but necessary tasks. Mm-hmm. But I do that with everything, right? I have an assistant. If like next week we're going to the Bahamas to speak at Ken McElroy's, we're gonna go speak at his mastermind. So I'll tell my assistant like, hey, book this flight, book this hotel, make sure I'm vegan, so I'll be like, make sure they got vegan food, make sure they got this. So I'm like, leverage is my middle name. I definitely leverage just everything I possibly can, 100%.
Even a lot of like the day-to-day operational stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I have the right team around me of operators and people. I'm not a detailed perfectionist type of personality. I'm more the type of person to jump off a mountain and build an airplane on the way down. So I always got to surround myself with people that are super detailed, that are super organized, that are super structured, because like I'm not. So when I have my masterminds events, I have a team that will set it up. I get there and like I teach. Like that's what I do. I leverage everything and anything I possibly can. The only thing I don't leverage is obviously if it has to do with my wife or my kids, those things I'm like hands-on. But anything business, monetary-wise or scheduling-wise, it's all leveraged.
I mean, like, that's the thing, though. I feel like based off what I'm hearing from you, you've had that mindset for quite a while. Because it is a way of thinking. There's not a lot of people that will go out there and go, oh, I'm going to go hire a house manager. Like,
right.
Which I personally totally believe in. I think that answer is like something that I completely have had in mind. Told my wife that too. It's like, eventually within time, like I'm going to do that. I need to set that up because I think life should be a choice, in my opinion. Yeah. And like money buys you the freedom to have those choices.
Yeah. It's interesting when that comes up, when we started hiring someone, because like my mom, she doesn't speak English. So like growing up, other than all the illegal businesses we did, she would like clean houses and work at like factories. So she's like, mijo, someone's cleaning your house? She's like, how come you guys aren't cleaning the house? She's like, I'll go clean your house, And she's like, someone's cooking for you? Someone's doing laundry? Like she couldn't understand the concept of why we would pay someone how much are you paying her? So there's a lot of scarcity in regards to the subject of money. It's like, when I go to my mom's house, the lights are off. The AC is off, even if it's 95 degrees inside the house.
To save money, yeah.
And on my wife's side, her mom too, she was like, oh, like you guys hired someone, they're gonna do all this for you. Like, oh wow, this is not normal. Like in the Latino culture, it's not you do your own stuff. You don't hire it out. So we had to. It's like, hey, you got to live your life. You have your beliefs. Like this is the way we're living our life, and we had to at first there was a little bit of friction, but now everyone got used to it.
I can definitely tell that you're not that traditional when it comes down to certain things. I mean, dude, one, you hired like a nanny or like the house manager. Second, you're Latino and you're freaking vegan, bro. What the heck?
I know, right?
What's going on here?
Yeah, we just, I don't know, man. Everything that we do, we just call it life by design. Like, we don't follow a lot of sometimes we live our lives in a certain way because our parents did it, and then when you ask them why they did it, they're like, well, your grandma did it and their parents did it, and it's like everyone's just repeating the process. So we just decided to just start from scratch.
That's funny, dude. My mom would have the exact same reaction. Because
Yeah.
like even now, like it's just like, even if it's like a once a week thing, she's like, how am I gonna allow a stranger into my house to clean my house? Like, it's just like, what if they take something? It's like, calm down, dude. Like, that's their job. Not to take stuff, but
To steal. No, man. I appreciate the insights heavy, because I think a lot of people can definitely take a lesson from this, because scared money don't make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where investing into resources like that will allow you to kind of like free up. Also, I think it's huge as an entrepreneur, especially a guy in your position, to be able to have the freedom to like think, and not overthink things.